All right. Let's see. I think hmm, I might play the Drenchen. Pretty big combat update recently here, or the Drath. Actually, let's do the Drath because I used to avoid them because of their war profiteers gave it was a little broken. They gave pretty much by end game you had like hit points on ships that are like 12 times higher or something like that. Not 12 times, they add 25 hit points, but it would scale in various ways. So, all right. Oh, I think the reason why it scaled is from the difficulty. All right. So they have war profiteers. So, uh, receive a 200% bonus from trade routes when other factions are fighting. So you want to try to use diplomacy to get factions to fight each other. Ancient. Research from precursor artifacts and anomalies starts with an additional policy slot. Additional slot is always nice. I haven't played with this for a little while, so I don't know everything it gets. Because sometimes this stuff gives different tech trees, or it gives other bonuses, like especially like policy slots. Okay, they start with clever, so they get 5% more research. Militant plus 40 control, which is nice. You know. And let's see. Just try and check here. They're also rich, so 5% more income. And persuasive. Minus 10. I don't know if this is really a big deal. I don't recall jungles. I think they get more forest tiles. But we'll look at that in a second. And colors and everything I think is okay. We'll use their ship style. They have kind of dragon looking ships. Okay, setting we'll do galaxy size. Large, several, occasional. Habitable planets, I might knock it down one because they've been. In my preference, this tends to be too many, and I don't want to necessarily go to rare. Extreme planets, we can probably leave it. I am going to make a slight adjustment to my sound. Okay. Everything was pretty loud. I think that does not affect my chat or my sound that everyone else hears. I've been playing around. It's been a while since I used OBS. Okay, back to this. Resources. They default at occasional. I knock it to uncommon. Just makes resources a lot more rare. Star frequency. I just leave it on in occasional. Difficulty incredible. Game pacing, I'd leave in normal. Research, I leave in normal. Minor races, occasional. This is actually has an added benefit right now because it's one of the few ways you can get culture from getting the capitals. So, otherwise you can trade with them, stuff like that. Hostile entities. This is I just leave it on the default setting, and then civ proximity, others, and sector. I actually did a fair amount of testing with this, and it's not as broken as I thought. It's just I think there's a kind of a it's not really clear as far as how all these settings operate, but from my testing right now, the when you get to number of sectors, this is a single sector. Everyone's in one. This is two. These make sense. I believe this is 3. I think this is 5, and this is 9. I don't know exactly what these two, but there's only 9. In previous versions of the game, mini actually was 24 sectors, and it kept all the sectors fairly small. So when a lot of people would set this to here and then this setting to far, and what would happen is there's just, if you have too many AIs and they are going they're like, well, not everyone's far away, they're still pretty close. So it's like, well, if you have like 18 AIs and only 9 sectors, you're going to still have two AIs or at least two AIs in every sector. So that's why these settings all kind of work with each other. So I just leave it to others in sector. We will set to several and large, because this is usually the size of your largest sector, and then just kind of the total number of hexes throughout the entire game, and then this is divided, or those hexes are divided into all the sectors. Maybe I'll do few. Few, I think, is 3. I'm not 100% sure, but it doesn't matter too much. So then this will come up here, and depending on how you have your settings, it's going to kind of give you a record number of players. The way I like to do this is I pretty much add 1 to this number. So 18. And I take away, I do half of that number. And then I remove 1 for myself. So this tends to put smaller sectors will have 2 AIs, larger sectors will have 3 or so. Depending on, I mean, if we did few, yeah, that's usually probably 2 sectors of 2 and then maybe 1 of 4. But you can always fine tune it however you wish. Okay, okay, and I'm not going to read all that. I probably couldn't even read it properly. My brain likes to skip lines. So, all right. Okay, so at the beginning here, we have a artifact. We have a space junk and another artifact. Artifacts we'll add to our vault here. So right now, I want to kind of scoop these up and then I always try to grab artifacts first, then capsules, then space junk. But they've redone a lot of the events, so I'm not sure if how that will change things. Okay, the next thing we need to do is I always take the early colonies. I try to grab the production one first. And then I go in here and do my draft colonists. Gives me another colony ship. I take the other one. I also click on here and just see how many colonies are in the starting system, because sometimes you don't see all of your colonies. So it's good to kind of check, see for the particular start how many colonies. You want to grab your initial system. A lot of people will look at these colonies and it's like, well, this is a class 3 world. Well, in Galactic Civ 3, class 3s were pretty weak. You didn't really want to use them. It's not the case for here. Now, I might actually explain this whole system right now. So, because there's a lot of questions about it. So each world, include all the worlds, have a mineral input, or these inputs. So you have minerals, you have technology, you have wealth, you have farming, and you have culture. these, if you see this here, you see this little line. This is basically it's taking its mineral input and sending it to. Well, that's might be a typo. It actually says output, but it's actually, well, yeah, it's outputting these resources to the nearest core world. It's always the nearest one. So if you create a new core world, it's going to claim all the colonies that are closer to it than any other colony or any other core world. All right, so we have this. We're pushing two minerals, one technology, and one not. Now this will decay depending on how far away it is from the core world. So we double click on the core world. We can see here that all the colonies in the list, they'll come up here. All the colonies will show up here. If you hover over here, you can see that that's pushing. Now there is a little bit of decay because it's just a little bit. It decays per every tile. Actually, that might have to take a look at that. I don't think that's supposed to decay that soon. It's only 2 tiles away, but maybe it does. Now, and just a little disclaimer: I like to test in this game. It's an alpha, so if I see something, I will. There's nothing that will probably keep me from pointing it out. So just if something catches my eye, then I'm like, ooh, what's that? Okay, so now this could be maybe it's a little graphic, but you can see the decay. It has two minerals, but it has a minus 1.5 decay for its distance away from the colony. So you can see this is how these numbers add up. So this is why you want to get in Galciv 3 you had this stat called raw production. Colonies now basically replace raw production. It's how this is you basically use the colonies to increase the raw production of the core world, and then the core world has multipliers. So this is your inputs. Then if you look here, you can see, okay, we have 5 input here. Here's our 5 right here, or 4.97. And then then this core world has additional inputs because of this xanthium deposit. It adds 1 manufacturing. So keep in mind that even though these are different stats, this is mineral inputs, this is manufacturing. They are related, they have the same color, and it's sometimes very easy to get them mixed up. But this is, you only have, core worlds only have these stats. Or, sorry, colonies only have these 5 stats. Core worlds have these, they take these and derive them to, other stats. So there's other factors too here. You have pollution, you have crime, control, approval, and planetary defense. And I'm not going to go through all of them right now. I'll kind of go through them as I see them. But the big one here is going to be approval and crime. So where approval comes into play is if you go to manufacturing, this is the same as this approval number. So what this means is, because our approval is 81%, we are only getting about 81% of our manufacturing. So it's a multiplier. So you want to kind of keep your approval fairly high. But you have your inputs, you have your bonus, you have your governor bonus, because this governor has 11 diligence. So the governor comes into play here too. All this comes to this number. This is what's actually it's not this number that you're looking at. When you're looking at how much production, you're looking at what this translates into. So it does all the math, and right now we have 5 mineral inputs, and with everything else in the calculation, it's 5.4. So that is how much we're going to produce here. Okay, so next thing, they made a change. Uh, I've always been on the fence how much I like it, but I think I am. There's a lot of things with this the capital world change that I it did have to be changed because some of the where these worlds would spawn would just drive people crazy. So since this is a case, you actually may want to consider moving this on turn one. Um, or whenever. You don't have to do it on turn one, but it's sometimes better to move this to a better spot. But so the way I plan out my colonies, I first find the best research world possible. And I'm not going to probably move my capital just yet because it actually spawned next to the. I think, in my opinion, putting it next to research at the beginning is one of the better things to do. You can get a lot of production bonuses fairly quickly. I don't think it's actually better or a good idea to focus on your maxing your production using the colony capital. You'll still be prioritizing production, but it's going to be good enough. Now, this happens to be right next to this xanthium deposit. So we have that is, there's adjacency. So the xanthium adds 1 to manufacturing. If you look here, this is a manufacturing improvement. Oh, my mouse cursor is not lined up with the video. I just noticed that. I don't remember how I fixed that before, but it's definitely broken. Well, we'll have to ignore it. But right now, you can't see it, but my mouse cursor is over this under industrial centers is manufacturing improvement. So what it means is this one manufacturing, because this is a manufacturing improvement, it's going to get a +1 level. This tile adds 3. So 1 from here, 3 from the tile. Now we have a +4. Okay. Next, we want to use districts to increase the level even further. So 1 district adds 1 to manufacturing. So now adding it to here, this 4 will become a 5 once it's built. So it will show you kind of what level it's going to be. And you can see that because it's so some of these calculations get a little odd depending on where you're actually at. So it's saying it's a level 4 because it's if I build this right now, it'll be a level 4, but once I built this, it'll be 5. But you can see the 4, you have a level 4 industrial center, gives you 20% manufacturing. So that means for each level, you're getting 5% manufacturing. So when it becomes a 5, it's going to be a 25%. So not every improvement is going to give the same bonuses. They all, there's different types of manufacturing improvements. They don't all give you 5% per level. Each one's unique. You gotta kind of play around with it. But if you're kind of wondering like why I suddenly get numbers and other tiles I don't get numbers, that's the reason why. It's you get a tile bonus. You may get a special planetary trait. You may get adjacency bonuses. That's where all these numbers come from. I'm not going to probably. Actually, this is a pretty good world here, so maybe I will do this. So I don't always build the trade network, but this one's actually decent. So trade network here, this gets 2% wealth for every level and 10 base. And then it grants +1 level. So we have our basic improvements here. And this is not the order on my build this stuff. I'm just laying everything out here. And then I go in and I do my manufacturing. So I'm going to first rush by this research one. And then I'm going to build the manufacturing or industrial center. I'm just going to slow build that. And then I have the districts. So these two I will actually eventually take advantage of the approval and put approval districts on these. Maybe not quite yet. Then let's see. So this is kind of how I will lay this out. And I probably need another manufacturing. I try to get this manufacturing number to at least 20 as soon as I can. Food, I'll probably leave that. So we'll try this and go from there. And then, you know, as I unlock more improvements, I'll expand on this. The one that's grayed out right now is a starport, and starport is pretty important. It scales very well, and it adds to your ship production, and it adds bonuses to everything around it. So now the one thing about the starport is, in some cases, its positioning can sometimes matter. I actually thought these districts did too, but I guess they won. So some improvements you want to put in the center of others, some of them you want to put them on the fringes to optimize it. So starport, let's see. This Xanthium deposit gives +2 ship production. Starport's a ship production, so we want to do it next to that. And this is here, so this is probably the best spot for the starport. So I don't want to build that tile because I might have to destroy it anyways. So once I get Durantium, I'm going to place my starport here. So now that that's placed, let's do this in order. You want to build these kind of next to one that's already existing to optimize it. So this, if I want to do this one before the other one, because if I build starport, I want to get the immediate benefit from it. And then we'll do this one. The next one will probably be this tile. So let's set that here. And then these two don't really matter. I just want to build them. So, and then we'll do our trade depot at the end. Okay, so that, you know, you don't have to, you can do these one at a time, but I think for the early game, it helps speed things up a little bit by just doing all that. Right now, so you have these citizens. I'm not going to change the jobs right now because it costs control. And it kind of really hurts your expansion to do so. So I've kind of made a few posts about this control cost. It's too high. But it's neither here nor there right now. It's just right now I'm not going to make any changes to this. It would in some cases be better set these to workers, but you know, 3 control basically is going to cost, or means I might build one less colony ship in the early game. Once I get the use up all my control into colony ships, then I will go back and I start using control to change these. All right, shipyard is idle. The way I do this, there's a little trick for rush by. Is you want to set your ships so you're going to slow build, and then if you rush by, you put this next. This means that I'm always putting my manufacturing points into things I want to slow build, and I still get the benefit of doing the rush by. So if I do this, like, and you'll see in a second why I'm doing it this way. But early on, I want to get 2 probes. And I will usually rush by 2 two of either one of these. So we have, may do 2 colony ships, I may do 2 constructors, I may do a constructor and a colony ship. I never know, it depends on the map makeup. So right now I will probably hold off on this, but I always keep my ships that I'm not necessarily trying to rush out, constantly slowly building up. It's a little bit faster, a little bit more efficient. All right, so we get 2 probes because I want to start. Ooh, this is. I might. Oh well. This is actually kind of a buggy layout. It's not actually using all of the stars here. So I am actually going to well, I'll play with it. They made some changes to do different layouts of stars. This is actually a pretty rare configuration, but it's only using half the sector. So I'll just deal with it. Um, okay, let's see. That was just a recent change. I think they may fine tune some of that stuff, but it does actually make these sectors look a lot more interesting. It's just this is probably one of the least interesting versions of what that can look like. Okay, right. So what was I doing? I got my shipyard done. We'll do our civilization. Most civilizations are going to do coarse colonization because you want the extra growth for the early phase. Now this lowers approval by 15%, so you may want to lower your taxes down 1 level or 2, whichever. You don't need to worry about your monthly income right now, so you can definitely set your taxes to low to help expand. Later on, you is a good idea to increase your tax rate, but you want to get your approval up first before it. Now, some of these policies are going to depend on the faction. This one happens to have hull reinforcement that adds 20% hit points. This comes with the Drath. Their War Profiteers gives us. The Ancient one gives this one, which increases their influence growth. Influence is used to take other colonies and is also useful for tourism. And then you have the Heart of the Empire. Uh, it's generally probably this is pretty weak because it only applies to the home world. Now the home world is usually the strongest in these, but some with this faction I will absolutely not do it, but other ones will. And then you have land exploitation for the other slot. This is pretty good, but the pollution slows down your growth rate a little bit. It's going to be minus 30%. Every point of pollution is subtracts from growth rate. So when I read pollution here, it's 30%. It means it's minus 30% growth. It's not terrible. But there's other effects here too. Actually, let's just look at here. Now this applies to every colony, so it's going to, and then it's before multipliers. So it's 5 right now. I think that only added. One second. I'm actually curious why that only 1 point. I think part of it is we're increasing. That actually looks odd to me. Huh. This might actually be stronger than I thought. That seems to also apply. I don't know why this number, maybe the approval isn't, or the, yeah, I actually don't know why. This might be calculating this wrong. But it looks like this adds for all the colonies too. That's why this is so strong. Let's go in here. Oh, I know why that it's not making that big of a difference. It's because of the tax rate. You know, because your income is based on your tax rate. So if you have taxes low, that means this GDP number, you're only getting 10% of it, so it's 2. So because my taxes are low, I don't want to do the land exploitation. All right, so the decision probably is between heritage protection and hull reinforcing. I might do the heritage protection to get the growth going. You won't see combat early on, so you don't need the extra hit points. This one is not a. This one's not going to be great because of the taxes being low, and same here. All right, leaders. For leaders, I picked the one, or I try to find a leader with that's affordable. Like this is like about just about half my money. Um, or just over half my money, and they're kind of terrible. So I'm not going to grab them. This one, this is a diplomat, so you can see, or because it's a spy, you can actually see um, other civilizations' fleet movements, which is pretty interesting. But um, maybe not right now. And then tourism. We don't have tourism even activated yet, so there's no point. This one has the highest intelligence, which basically means we have 9%. Across the whole civilization, we get 9% more tech or research rate. This is social, which is approval. Diligence is the affects it's your commanders and your production and food for your colonies, and this is your colony defense and you know used for commanders to. I think one increases the hit points, and one increases movement or something like that. All right, so first I grab the leader with the highest intelligence, and I put him in Minister of Technology. This gives me 1 resource card, or extra slot to get a research bonus. I'll explain that a little bit. Then I consider whether or not I want to get a second leader. This can be pretty powerful to have 2 leaders or even 3, but you only have so much starting income. These are actually fairly strong leaders. This one, this gives 13% approval and influence. So I might actually get them too, and then I might make them the Minister of Colonization. Takes your social score and affects approval. So now that's gonna be pretty strong. The consideration for a third one, I'm going to skip it right now. It does add a guaranteed +1 movement, and then its diligence score adds to the range. So it can be a early advantage. The other options aren't unlocked right now, so we'll skip that. Okay, civilization tab, leaders tab, cultural progression. We don't have 8 points right now. I'll explain that when we get to that point. I do apologize. I am always going to be pretty nasally. I have allergies year round. So I might clear my throat a lot. Sorry. Can't do a whole lot about it. All right. Research. Okay, so I didn't show this before, but before this slot would be locked, but because I get a Minister of Technology, I get 3 slots that get this 50% research bonus. Many cases, you're best picking the one of these 3. However, do not ignore this time. You know, you will sometimes go pick other things. Like, armed shuttles is only 4 turns. That's not too bad. I try to pick stuff within 3 or 4 turns. So these are my 4 candidates that I would say for research. Research districts, always pretty good. Gets that research going. and it unlocks the Khazar's mainframe. This is a very strong improvement, and it's a wonder. So getting that, prevents other AIs from getting it, but it does require 5 Promethean. And Promethean's fairly difficult. So then you have the Orbital Research Lab. This is for star bases. Wait a minute. That's incorrect. Oh, that's the orbital improvement. I think this, I'm not sure if this is new or old, but this will add 1 technology. And that stuff adds up. I don't, unfortunately, build a lot of these, but I don't have the Durantium right now. Then we have the research districts are unlocked by this. So this is a fairly good, plus it unlocks a lot of colony building options. Usually, one way I like to go is I get research districts, and I get planetology, and then I get space elevators. This unlocks supply ships. I want to have supply ships unlocked by the time I get to the second core. So then the other route is you have Universal Translator. And I'll do this from this screen here. Universal Translator gives you one way you can start with this is grab Universal Translator, which unlocks a lot of options. And then, more importantly, you get Hyperwave Radio. This gives you an additional flagship, and it increases the number of policies by 1, which is good. Now, I don't. Other factions, I'd probably grab it even sooner, but this one starts with an extra policy slot, and the 2 remaining aren't that great. So I'm not going to rush to get more, but this still actually, the Hyperwave Radio unlocks a lot. It's a really good tech. Then you have leadership recruiting, you get more leaders, and you get another policy slot, and the executive order invite leaders. And you trade networks gets your trade going, and a free freighter. So the Universal Translator is a pretty good one, although I usually wait till I encounter someone or after I unlock planetology. Warfare, self-explanatory. All your warfare techs are in here. And engineering. With engineering, some critical ones are subspace scanning and streaming, so you can go across sectors. Subspace scanning also unlocks the Promethean drive, and Eyes of the Universe, which allows you to see all the other factions' homeworlds, and it makes the streams visible. And then I thought this actually did. I think I'm mixing this up. I thought this also increased sensor range, but that might have. I think that changed. Okay. All right. 1 second. I'm hearing a noise. Okay, I'm not sure. Artificial gravity, movement, and logistics. So you can have larger fleets and they move faster. Plus, you get experimental drives, which allows all your ships to move. So this is a fairly strong one. And then, at this point, I mean, this stuff as you need it. You have your logistics line in your ship range and your movement. All that stuff is down this one. So move faster, larger fleets, and more longer distances. And then this, I think, is a special line because of probably the ancient ability. I don't think this is normal. So I'll play around with that. Asteroid mining. This asteroid miners is pretty critical. You can get a lot of free production with it for small investment, so you kind of want to get that somewhat soon. And then you have Starbase modules. Starbases I try to unlock fairly early because you get 2 free constructors and some modules and stuff like that. But this Probably is one of the early ones I grab. I try to get starbase mining or starbases, asteroid mining, uh, subspace. Well, I used to go subspace scanning because I think there was a sensor increase, but maybe not quite so much anymore. I probably will grab it fairly soon because I have a small cluster of stars, so I might get out of my main system right away. And then for here, I've explained, go down to leadership recruiting. You want to get to trade networks, and then probably Xeno Entertainment because entertainers are a really good citizen. But this is probably the very last one I'll do for my early plan. And then you do want to get weapons somewhat decent. So enough that are somewhat early. So all that's to say, I'm gonna do research districts first. Okay, so we got our 2 colonies. We have this probe here. I use my probe to initially scout the stars that are within colony range. Because I don't like scouting with colony ships. They don't have the sensor range to stay safe from pirates. Okay, turn 1 is always the longest turn. Especially when you're explaining stuff. Okay. I use the tab key to navigate to each turn. Quickly. Okay, we got another artifact. Cool. Research districts has now been unlocked. Now the choice is between planetology, which is probably my choice, starbase modules. I didn't actually look at my system to see if I have any resources, and armed shuttles. Planetology is probably the best choice here, and no resources in my starting system, so I'm not going to push or prioritize constructors. Okay. All right, we got to our first star, and it has a minor civilization on it. So I scout all the planets and all the resources, and then I move on to the next planet. I don't care about the empty space or how many asteroids are around this. I can see the asteroids on this list here. This hammer. This is how many planets, and this is how many resources. So there's one resource. So I want to find it because I try to plan these. Okay, that's Durantium. And I found the habitable planet and the resource, so I will send this scout to the next star. So now I want to consider getting Durantium going. Purple stars tend to be Promethean. So when I get my second scout, I'm going to send it towards these two. And then the third scout, unless I scoop this up later, will probably go to the top here. Okay. Event gives 5 manufacturing to all our worlds. This only applies to the core worlds because they are the only ones that use manufacturing. And let's see. Oh, that's what's go down. I can't always see. Maybe I'll make a suggestion here to when I hit tab, to do like a quick little animation to like a circle or something to show like what I actually selected. It's sometimes hard to see what you're actually looking at, especially I play the Zaloxy a lot, and I can't really see green versus green. This one's a little easier. All right, so artifact will go here. I'm also I'm watching this because in 4 turns or turn 9, you'll unlock the second Drath colonist. So planetology. Okay. Now our choice. I'm gonna look here. We have universal translator. These take a little longer, but they're candidates for research. They're not too bad. this one's probably too long. I'm going to wait till my research is a little better before I grab it. So we have artificial gravity and armed shuttles. I might take artificial gravity this time, +1 movement, and policy that'll give another +1 movement. So pretty good. Okay, that also unlocked exploit resources. I'm not going to worry about that later, but if I want to buy a governor, I could do that. It's 50 control though, so it's not that great early on. Okay, second probe. I'm going to send it to see if there's any Promethean at the star. Point of optimization here. Like, I usually click on stars just because it's easier, but you can actually creep up until the star's in your sensor range and then see what's there. So this is a really good area. We have our first candidate for a colony. We have Promethean on it, which is really good. We have 2 resources, which are likely Promethean, or it could be some Durantium, because there's asteroids, so there's possibly Durantium, and 2 other worlds. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here, take my colony ship. I'm going to rush the colony ship. Next turn, I will... I may skip the constructor because I'm gonna probably get the policy here real quick. So we'll get the colony ship, and just to make things easier, I'm gonna scout the area further, just see what else is in here. There's our 2 resources: a Durantium and a Promethean. Oddly enough, I didn't scout any of those colonies. Okay. Our colony ship has been built. Who do you want to send to these things? You can honestly sometimes just pick anything. Because I'm not going to change the control here, I am not going to worry about... You could sometimes consider what jobs they have, but you can always change that later. The big consideration is expectations and whether or not they're a criminal. Expectations of 12. Higher expectation colonists you generally want to put on star bases. Criminals you definitely want to put on star bases. But the reason why you want to consider putting the higher expectation people on star bases over lower ones is because you send them to a colony and then they tend to be pretty low approval. I wouldn't sweat too much. I'm gonna probably... The other thing is as I get the higher expectations, the overall colony approval goes up a little bit. So there's that too. So this can be a fairly deep question or decision, but at the end of the day, I won't sweat too much. Do whatever's quick. So in this case, I am actually going, because their expectations is 15. I might send them on the colony ship. They're going to hurt the colony that they land at, but whatever. As far as expectations too, they only hurt core worlds. So you want to put the low expectations colonists to the core world candidates. The crime affects the colonies. The criminals, the criminal stat affects colonies, but the approval, I'll go in whatnot. Either way, I'm just going to send this guy along as well as to this. Okay, turn 8 will be usually when you unlock your first research card, culture cards. I have, because of my starting faction, I have individualism at 20% discount, which, this, I could wait to turn 10 and I start another tree, but these are, generally want to go the ones that have the highest discounts. This subtracts 15% decay from your colonies and spawns a ship. So we will do that. Next will be the leaders. Now, this is because I picked this card up. I didn't show it before, but this was 10 before. Now it's 20. So they scale every time you pick a slot, it scales up. Usually getting your first tree happens fairly quickly. Then after that, things slow down. I know there's ways of getting more culture points. I'm kind of fine with how it is right now. I don't like the idea of grabbing every single one of these. It doesn't make sense to me. But that's how I do it. Okay, so after that, I will get 2 other picks here at 14 points with 1 point per turn. That will be turn 22, I think. 3 more leaders. This is really good. And plus 3 stats to everyone who has an individualist trait. That's pretty good. This unlocks a special tier 2 job. So they can make more money, and it adds a orbital improvement. So these are individualism is actually preloaded with really good traits. And a lot of these trees, they're all really good. This is why I'm fine with the cost, because these are worth taking when they're available. Now, I'm 1 turn short. I'm not turning 9 yet, so I'm 1 turn short for this. Let's see what the Independence. The Independence, first I want to see, is this a flagship? Yes, it is. So I will be sending it to these anomalies. Next thing, I kind of look at if it has any special abilities. Little sensor range. Oh, that's the survey module. So this doesn't look like it has anything. This is just another flagship. So we will take this and I will send it to this artifact. Also, does it have a sensor range 3? So nothing super special beyond that. Okay, so I still want to get... Is it 3? Okay, there we go. Found all 3. Okay, so send it. I will just send it to the star. If you're trying to really optimize it, and probably go like here and then eke your way forward, but it's just faster. Okay. Grab this. Now I might get a 3rd scout at some point, so I'll probably send it up top. Oh, I didn't scout all my colonies. Try to see if there's any core worlds. None of these are at this system is core world candidate, and there's an approval relic, which is pretty nice if I get a starbase there. Now, there's not anything else here, so it'll probably be a culture one. Okay, unlocked the next one. So space elevators in 6 turns. I'm nowhere near getting that. Well, by the time... Do I want to do this right now? I think I'm gonna wait on space elevators. Maybe see if it pops up again. Let's just look here. Asteroid mining. This actually looks pretty good because we have a lot of asteroids nearby. Armed shuttles. Might do armed shuttles. It's 2 turns plus it gets some of our. We can remove a -10 debuff. Okay, antimatter. Okay, turn 9, so we're going to do our 2nd colonist. Alright, so few different ways I do colonies is I try expand as quickly as possible. But with the layout here, I probably will be playing more tall with this one. So we have this colony ship is heading towards the core world, and then I want to pick the next best world for this colonizer. I want to get a constructor on deck, and go here. What else? Oh, I've unlocked an upgrade. So after 2 anomalies, now we unlocked an upgrade. For flagships, I like to do movement and sensor range. Okay. Okay, so I've covered. Let's grab this space junk. Okay, we have armed shuttles. Space weapons is just a little bit better. I mainly just went armed shuttles for the free ship. Orbital manufacturing, not a huge priority. None of these are, I mean, this is 6 turns, this is 2 turns. Now, I may grab this now because it's 2 turns, and then even if I get 50% discount, that's going to be 3 turns. It technically this could save me 1 turn. It's actually a more of a gamble, but let's just go for it. Let's see. Okay, so I might send 1 ship to my core world, and then 1 ship to this second core world that we're heading towards. This will, the citizens, if you hover over them, don't really like when they're not, there's no ships in orbit, so that's why I did that. Try to have something, plus it's really good to, it's a good idea to put a lot of early fighters to protect all of your colonies and core worlds. Keeps the AI from being quite so annoying. They have to invade with more than just a siege. Okay, this is my 3rd and generally final probe that I deal with. Maybe later on I might build more, but I find 3 probes scouts out everything pretty quickly. Okay, we happen to swing by and see that there's a black hole. Now, I don't need to. I know there's going to be a few antimatter, and actually need to scout that out beyond that. You can scoop up all the antimatter around a black hole with a starbase. So we'll send that here. Okay, now we have this world. Now it's kind of by itself, but it's if I make this a candidate, it's going to scoop up these colonies. So these are part of this world. This is another precursor world. You have a what does this do? This one, I'm not sure what this is doing. I'm guessing it adds, the improvement itself adds a lot of minerals. There's a lot of minerals on this one, so I think this world just is going to be a huge production world. Okay, that's a pretty good colony. The problem is I don't have the range to get there right now. So I need probably a constructor, a colony ship, and then another colony ship to get there. So let's scout here, but let's look here. Can't actually get the constructor in range of this Tarantium to grab it right away. So I'm actually hoping that this world has something to expand to. Otherwise, I might just be having to put a a constructor in open space, and that always is not fun, but you gotta do what you gotta do. All right, so this is the only world. There's a resource. It's been found. I actually am about positive I will not get this in time because there's likely an AI in the same sector. So I'm not going to. I could race for it, but it's still at least 3 ships or 3 ship colonies or constructors just to get there. Okay, so I found my neighbor. Space weapons. Okay, directed energy weapons. Shields are pretty strong. Unfortunately, the gambit did not pay off. I want to grab the space elevators at this point, even though it's not um, uh, there's no research bonus. Okay. Okay, the reason why, another reason why you also want to wait to do the universal translator is you can get 1 culture point, which is not that big of a deal, but why not get the little bit of bonus. Okay, so we got this. These things are pretty interesting. I've been playing a while, so I don't necessarily read them. Yeah, I probably won't do it on stream here because it doesn't sound exciting to me. Okay, so all these increase one of the culture awareness by 1 point. So it gives a little discount. Yeah, I'm not sure why the second line is here because it's basically does the same thing. Maybe not. Maybe it's a double discount. I'm not sure. Then you have 10% approval, 10% tourism and traditionalism, and 25%. So, and then +1 deception. That's actually pretty good. I don't care what this thing says, morality and whatnot. It's it's just a game. If I was role playing, maybe I'd pay more attention, but I don't. So, well, 25% tourism is better than 10%, and all these are secondary. This is also increasing one of my ones I've already started to having a little bit of discount towards. So let's grab that. And some of these decisions don't even matter because they apply to certain things here. Okay, so I found that there is a minor civ in this one too. So 2 minor civs close by. So building siege ships is, or some people say trade ships. To me, it's like, oh, I'm gonna run them over, because then I get 2 extra culture from their capitals. Plus, I get 2 capital made frames. I always pretty much always just invade them. So good starting area, but it's really small. All right, so here we have a Durantium cloud. I believe that adds some Durantium, either 1 or more. And more importantly, I think it allows me to get to this area and then to this area faster. So let's do this. So I'm going to leave my constructor here, building up, because I want, it's going to come next turn anyways. There's absolutely no point in rushing this right now. So I will do the colony ship. And I can't actually afford to rush it, so I guess it doesn't even matter. So we'll just leave that there. So after the constructor, I'll build a colony ship. Okay. This area is pretty scouted, so we'll move on. Okay, so this probe doesn't really have a whole lot to do right now. Again, just with the layout, I could have done this all with 2 probes, but I can scout empty space and see if I can find some other things in this area. All right, so we have a constructor. Constructor, I would put criminals first. And this is a criminal with high expectations, so... And let's see. Was there... There's no resources there. Okay. Where do... Oh, I think I'm going to put this right here and scoop up the stuff. So position-wise, they start with a 5 range. They can go to 7 at some point. They can expand even further, but I usually play them in 5 range. Okay, so this stuff is in the culture border, so I can make it take asteroid miners and get these. So I'm gonna grab the resources and then I'm gonna park it kind of next to an asteroid field, and then away from where I may use other star bases. There can be maybe I play around too much with optimization, but there's actually some thought in where I actually put this. And then there's this area that who knows, it could have something in there. So let's try to park it up here. So I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's also within range. So I would scoop both of those up. Okay, kinetic. This is the basically adds 2 to connect attack to the ship that found this, or I get a bonus. I think I'm gonna actually do this 2 connect attack because the initial flagship is actually kind of weak. A lot of people will, in Galciv 3 used to run your flagship and run everything over. But in this one, because it only has beams and missiles, it actually struggles to fight against a lot of stuff. The 2 kinetic weapons can actually mean that this ship will be able to solo pirates. It still doesn't have weapons, which is a consideration to keep in mind. Or sorry, it doesn't have armor or any sort, yeah, defenses. Okay, so now we have. So I have this capsule in range, or over there, but I don't really have anything else kind of close by. So let's use this to scout a little bit, and you will probably see me just totally at this point keep scouting with this thing and forget to pick up anomalies because I just do that all the time. Just kind of clear up the empty space. You want to also clear this up, even if there may not be anything. There's asteroids and all that stuff, but more importantly, as anomalies become more exposed because other races get the anomaly detection perk, you're going to see more of these, and so this will allow you to see, as much as you can clear up, the better. Okay, this is the sniper. It's going to go here. Now the decision is do I want to make this a core right now? And I overspent my money, so I can't necessarily build a shipyard right away, but this is going to start with 7. Because it's going to scoop this up. 7 production, that's pretty good. I think this is strong enough to handle being a core by itself. But I can't afford it, so I don't even know what I'm talking about. Let's actually do this here. Well, that's 50 control. Never mind. I think I might do land exploitation and increase taxes because I'm doing hardly anything. But now that I've expanded a little bit, 16. Yeah, let's do this. Just curious. This way I can start affording more leaders. It's the pollution is going to hurt a little bit. Let's just see here. But I don't think it's going to be that bad. Yeah, I think this is going to be okay. Pollution is 50%. Let's see. They're not. If you hover over this, sometimes they'll complain about the pollution. That does not appear to be the case. Approval is. It's probably hurting us a little bit, but I think it's going to be okay. I might be forgetting some early things due to get money, but that's usually what I do to handle it. Okay. Here. It's another precursor world. A lot of precursor worlds in this system here. Okay. See, this is... Oh, it's up here. Oh. See, I'm not even scouting the whole area. This is some OCD or whatnot, so let's see. Just scouting around this. All antimatter shows up at this ring around here in the blue area. That's the only place you'll see it. So I still have these couple tiles to see if there's like this is a 2 or 3, but it looks like it's a 2. Keep artifact. This is the harbinger. This is I think this is the artifact that you do 10% damage. I am actually going to dismantle this because that gives me a good amount of money. Because now I'm a lot closer to my leaders. My leaders happen to be a little expensive. But with the increased income, we should be able to do it so we can get our second colony online, because we've decided we want to do this as fast as possible. All right, so we have a nebula here. Around the nebula, you're going to find Illyrium. So let's scout this around this nebula and make sure there's no Illyrium. Okay, yeah, this is only 2 antimatter. This is a really good candidate for a constructor. So we'll put a constructor in queue. Because I don't. I'm gonna get one colony ship from our order here. I'll probably grab this. Might get over to this one, but after that, the AI is going to have expanded out, and our borders are going to meet. Oh, another miner. I think in future games I might lower the rate just a little. Oh, geez, even another one. Okay, yeah, I might lower the amount of minor civilizations, because to me it might be too good. Okay, so I can see 2 lines here. Now, one thing is, if there was anything like Illyrium up here, I would see the line even though I haven't scouted it. So I don't need to go see if there's anything up here and wiggle it around or stuff like that. I know that there's nothing, at least in this circle. There could be more other resource in here, but this is good enough. So we'll build a mining starbase in this case. Get all of our Bink videos, and then okay, so we have I get 1 Durantium. Anytime you get a resource, you get 1 guaranteed right away. So 1 Promethean, 1 Durantium. And then this is the rate. It starts at 0.1. The mining starbases have mining modules, so this one brings it up to another. So 0.1 was 1 Durantium every 10 turns. Now that I just went up by 0.1, it's now every 5 turns. So much faster. Alright, so we have that. Now, Durantium gives me access to build my starport. Starports are actually very quick to build. So I'm going to put it right here. I might as well finish this one here since it's only one turn. But then I will build the starport. And here it adds +1 to everything around it. It does not receive anything except for the manufacturing, but because this is actually a really good one because every point or every level is 10% shipyard production. So this was the best spot. Now, if I can get, there's more ship production modules, I will probably put, this is not going to likely be lakes. It's going to be another ship production one. And then that will possibly give another. So this might be where I put all my ship production resources. Or levels, sorry. Is this, oh, hey son, is this 1.55 version? No, it's 1.6. It's the insider build that was updated a couple days ago, so it's got a lot of combat improvements. I highly recommend this this new insider build. Does my voice come over? Sorry, I wasn't looking at my Steam chat, so I don't know how long you were there, son. Oh, how do you get the insider build? Go into right click, or are you using Steam or Epic? Oops, I actually started a new turn. Because if you're on Steam, you right click the game on Steam, go to properties and select betas. And yeah, it's in the beta tab. And then you select insider build. Epic has a different way of doing it. I only used Epic when Galactic 4 was only available on Epic, so I don't remember how to change it for there. But yes, that's how you do it on Steam. Okay. Yeah, highly recommend that update. It's really hard until I get into combat. It's really hard to show off like how impactful of a change that was. They increased the range of the weapons, so kinetic ships are no longer moving out of range. They also increased the arena size, so the a lot of people may not realize that missiles are only firing like they have a 450 or 4,500 range. But because the arenas were small, they were actually only doing, they're basically effect 2,000 range. Either way, missiles are going to still be garbage, but they're better. And they also made a lot of other improvements. So it's very good update. I think also it's like immediately after the update, I was like, pick on something else. And I think a lot of people like look at all the posts because I post a lot, admittedly, but no, that was like the hugest change. I'm very happy with that update. I always say if I'm posting a lot, it's not because I hate the game. It's because if I didn't like the game, I would not play it. I'm just very impassioned person. Okay. Okay, so we have the AI. Looks like they're. I don't know if they're. This is their starting system. It's the Onyx, and this might actually be their starting system. But I think they're going to get to this world. Well, they are Onyx. I might be able to grab this whole sector fairly quickly because of their very limited growth. All right, so you will go here because you're going to scout this out. I believe this is their starting world. or system. Okay. Let's see. We got our supply ships unlocked. Asteroid. We have a lot of asteroid fields, so asteroid mining is pretty good here. Manufacturing. Let's see. Durantium processor, which is really good. Very good improvement. I don't have the Durantium right now to get it. Missile. I'm going to be trying to use missile weapons as much as possible. Sun says there's definitely the basis for a great game here. I agree. Um, and oh, you got. Oh wow, your mom's awesome. Um, she got you the beta. Yeah, very. I like. I'm the type of person that I jump around games all the time, and in a given week I might play like 6 to 10 different games. I'm that bad. I've pretty much been only playing Galciv for the last like 3 or 4 weeks now, with very little migrating to other games. So all right, so between these and then all these research ones are fairly high. Defensive studies comes up a lot on here. I'm not going to try to grab it. That's probably my next highest priority perk. Same thing with Starbase modules. They tend to pop up a lot. You can look at the rarity and get an idea how often they do. I think it's not guaranteed though. There's especially the governance tree tends not to show up, if at all. Oh yeah, I play a lot of video games. 10 hours. That's yeah. That'd be a bad week for me. Me and my wife. My wife plays RimWorld. She's got 2,000 hours in RimWorld, and that's the only thing she plays. And then I jump around a lot of different things. I even like retired from World of Warcraft to play this because it's good. I miss some of my friends, but I'm really enjoying this. Okay, so back to this. It's pretty much picked between these two. I think I might grab asteroid miners. Okay. Let's see. Military needs new recruits. Gets a soldier citizen. Don't worry about the soldier part of this whole thing. It's you get a citizen, or I mean, you won't worry about it anyways. But it's also a citizen you can use for anything else. Scientist and entertainer. Now, between the three of these, the entertainer is the best one because it increases your approval. I didn't see who was actually on here, but oh, it's got to be this guy. Okay. Entertainer, but they have high expectations, so at least for they kind of cancel out their benefit, but they also increase everyone else's. If you like Dwarf Fortress, you'll like Grimworld. Pretty much same game. Dwarf Fortress is far more detailed than Rimworld, but Rimworld is uh, yeah, they're both. I would get definitely try Rimworld if you like Dwarf Fortress. Although now Dwarf Fortress is on Steam. I get overwhelmed by it. I walked in Dwarf Fortress. I looked on turn one. It's just like how many things. I'm like, I wouldn't say RimWorld's a step back. It's really hard to compare to Dwarf Fortress. That game is so huge, but I wouldn't say it's a step back. Especially now that RimWorld has all of its DLCs. Like when it first came out, yeah, it was pretty bare bones, but it was still pretty good. Now that with all the DLCs that they added, you can do very crazy stuff. I'm not going to describe how I play RimWorld because I'm well past war crimes at this point. It's yeah. I will just be quiet. My wife kind of cracks me up because she plays it more like everything. She has this huge group of farmer colonists and she sells horses and stuff like that, and it's like everyone's peaceful and whatnot. And yeah. Oh yeah, no, I'm not saying uh remo- remotely tops Dwarf Fortress. Not even close. The like when the developer describes what he's doing with it or how things work, I was just like, wow. But that game, he's been working on it for 30 years, and he says he'll probably continue working on it 30 years in the future, as long as he lives, because he enjoys it. All right, Stratha. Let's see. I forget my strategy here. Colony ships. I can get one more guaranteed one. I got my constructor. It's going to go over about here. And I think I need to grab colony ships. Now, usually this is a guaranteed. At this point, I've got all my basics, so I'm going to put it on rebuild or repeat. But this system actually started off with very few stars, so I will be ending my colony phase much sooner than I normally would. It's going to make for an interesting game because to expand, I will have to go to. Well, I always go to war, but um, yeah, it's going to change all this stuff. All right, this unlocks quite a few research related stuff. Railguns are always nice, but I don't necessarily need to grab it quite yet. Orbital manufacturing, more looking at what it gives beyond it, and I'm not at that point, I don't think. And then other choices, defensive studies is a consideration because we might be doing war, but it's 8 turns. That's too long. So let's do Xeno research. And I need to get a research world. I also got to remember that to spend my money, which I'm not to that point yet. Okay, and then the colonist. I need to try grab this world. And it's going to be a gamble because if they. Well, they won't. Never mind. They're not going to get to it. They can. This is guaranteed mine, at least at this point. This is going to be a question depending on how they expand. This is doubtful, and this helps me, but there's no core worlds. It looks like they expand this way, so they are in range of this one. And I don't think they're in range of that one. Okay, let's see here. For this, a miner, you put it on whichever one gives, or there's more, the more nodes touch, the better it is. So if I take this patch, it takes all 4 of these. If I get this one, I get all 3 of these. All 3 of these, all 3 of these, 2 and 2. So we're going to send the first one over here. The second one, I will probably send to the closer one. Do you still don't have Universal Translator? Universal Translator is amazingly good, and there's a lot of good stuff after it. But I don't always pick it up right away. I also don't play with research or tech trading. So there's Uh, it's a lot weaker than it may be for other people. Ooh, more money. Um, you know, if you have tech train on, then I get universal translator earlier, but because I don't, uh, and I like in this match, my consideration is I have one other faction nearby. I have a small area, and in this sector, it's just me and him. Small area. I'm going to probably be declaring war. I might not get universal translator until I get out of the sector. There's just well, with the exception of everything else, but I'm not going to do it for the trading aspect. There's no point in. I'm not going to become friends with them. I'm not going to um, do anything like that. Once I get my stuff built out, I go to war and I might fight them and take this whole sector. Um, okay, let me just make sure. So we have 2 more capsules. I think I'm not gonna run all the way over there to grab the capsules. I might just scout. There's the artifact there. Yeah, part of the reason I also, yeah, one of the reasons I just don't go universe translators, I'm always fighting someone. Now, if there's too many factions nearby and I need an ally, then I'll grab universal translator sooner. A lot of black holes. Dang it. They actually usually don't get the mainframe, but they did that time. Ah, well, it's gonna be my mainframe anyways. Like, I don't bother sweating if they get it. It's like I'm just gonna take it over. All right. Let's see. If I have this colony ship going here, I can send this one over here. Again, a little bit of a gamble. I think it'll pay off though, and I can grab this world because this one will extend the range. Then that'll allow me to go to that one. Okay, and okay, so we want to uncover all the blue area. And probably grab this capsule. Okay, I've scouted all the stars in my system. At this point, I'm my there's no I'm trying to decide if I want to still control the exploration or if I want to just turn it on auto. I might turn it on auto. Oh, of course they fly into Onyx territory right away. And yeah, we'll automatically. Don't know the game super well, but yeah, tech training has become. Yeah, tech training is good, especially when you're learning the game. Um, you just gotta make sure you do it if you have it on, because the AI is going to do it. And because if you don't trade techs and you have that on, you're going to get overwhelmed. They'll out tech you. But it's good to kind of learn the game, see the new technologies. At some point, or once I did that, then I turned it off because I just never need research going that fast. Okay, let's grab this here. I want to try and grab this colony, and I might be able to scoop this world and beat the AI to it. But my colonization phase is rapidly running out. Okay, so we're no longer going to micro the explorers. All right, subspace scanning. Yeah, but even if you play half research speed, if you have tech train on, it's like normal speed. But I know some people like it. I've at some point I was just like, it's not that. The game you're doing a lot of trades. It does make diplomacy a little bit more exciting though, having it on. Okay, between these three, Durantine processor is still pretty good. I think I want to see the subspace nodes. Oh yeah, broker. Yeah, you want brokering off for sure. Uh, yeah, normal speed with tech trading is it's it's a cheat code. Honestly, it's way too fast. Artifact, I don't know. Let's see. Your flagship locates in cache. I don't know what this does. I have I have one I have one Durantium every 5 turns coming in, and then I have a bunch of decisions. I might take the. Hopefully this is good because I just gave. Oh yeah, that's actually pretty good. Okay, so we get 25 research. Let's switch this around a little bit. Let's see what I can do. Let's do defensive studies. Let's do that one. Activate the artifact. Tell me that did something. Oh, I'll check in a second. See if it updates. Ooh, 3 liter. Oh, I forgot I can. Yes. I forgot I can buy one too. So we get 3 free liters, and then I can afford to buy one. But I'm gonna hold off on that because it might not be as amazing. Yeah, that's why I don't play with tech trading because that's what happens. Your research game ends extremely early, and it's so exploitable. More AIs, the faster it goes. But it's again very good when you're learning the game. You can see a lot of stuff, and so I will not. No judgments for me from that. But yeah, oddly enough, I don't have a lot of stuff unlocked. So let's look here. Let's grab our highest diligence. This is purple. So diligence, we'll grab the highest one, throw it there. Uh, although he is a spy. I don't have universal. Oh, like it. Even though he's a spy, I'm not going to pick up universal translator to see where he's moving. I'm just going to crush him. So there. Okay, that bug is okay. Then uh, for colonies, you want to do the highest stats. Social increases approval. Intelligent. This is a really good colony. Now they will lose 20 loyalty when you make them have their own world. So make sure you at least this guy has the minimal amount of approval, because if you go below 30, then they start uh, they could sometimes switch to the other side. So I want to get something to increase their approval. Now universal or okay, so Universal Translator is actually probably something I want to consider soon because I want to unlock the Bazaar. I keep forgetting that that was changed. Okay. Now we have Pressure Scientist, print money. Okay, there's no reason to buy another leader yet because I can't do anything with them. Unless, well, let me check. 17 turns. Okay, we got time. So what I want to do is I want to consider getting a tech that get into leadership recruiting. So I think we will go down. Yeah, I'll get harmony crystals. I prioritize getting those. Okay, so now that artifact unlocks, let's do the movement because it's a flagship. Plus, I think soon you get additional flagships going down to hyperwave. All right, new colony that we assigned here. This core world capital is a population improvement, so it gets a level. So increase the pop cap by 1 and 5% for each level. This is where I want to put this because it's a +3. It's also adjacent to the manufacturing one, and my second world is always going to be something with manufacturing. Okay, population. Then the next one, I put the supply depot, and then the colonial generator. I build a shipyard, and if I can, I rush the shipyard. I do almost every colony just like this. Well, good. It's a great game. So, yeah, you want to do a triangle because this grants adjacency to both of these, and they grant to each other. So this will be a +5, +3. Starport. You want to put them next to wealth or manufacturing. They grant the adjacency. They're not really good for receiving adjacency. So I think this is a really strong combination here. And with their wealth, I might put this right here because you get 2 of these traits. And then you get the bonus from here. And even if that's all I put on these, that is going to be pretty strong. Take that, and I'll build a financial district. I will build a manufacturing district. I might move it up the list. Do I rush the starport? Yes, because that's helps my shipyard. Okay, and then what else we do here? I'm not going to worry about the research. They only have 3 technology. And this, I've got most of the worlds around here, so it's not going to get better than that. So I'm going to probably put the wealth one here. So we got a triangle, triangle, and that. And that is probably enough early planning. I'll leave the rest of this. Let's see, maybe, well, I got population covered. I do need food from one of my planets. I don't think it's going to be here, though. I think it's going to be from my core world. This will be food district. This will be... I try to plan certain districts out, just so I don't forget to deal with them. I think I might grab whatever food I can on this world. And this increases, no, so food districts are actually good if you make a triangle because they all give each other +2 levels. But you don't need a whole lot of food, so I'm not going to sweat. I think we'll do this, but I'll probably still build something else. Oh, I'll need this district right away. I need, oh, did I build the wrong thing? Agriculture. Okay. All right. One moment. My wife just got home, so I'm gonna pause for a few minutes, and I'll be back.